I was a prosecutor in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So my victims, people I was representing, were the most poor, most put upon, least resources. Like they were, half the people I dealt with were immigrants. Half of them were desperate. I was a domestic violence prosecutor for over a year and a half, and I saw so many people whose choices were be hungry and go to a shelter with your 4 kids, or keep getting beat. Right? When I started doing violent crimes and I went to the trial division, it was the people I was representing where people were getting stabbed by like there was a guy in the deli, got his face slashed. I spent 6 months just trying to get him to work on the case, just to be cooperative so I could defend him against what happened to him. He got his face slashed with a kitchen knife. He wouldn't do it. So
good for him.
But the funny thing was, as a student ADA in Manhattan, I truly felt like we were not on the side of the angels. I did not even apply to be a prosecutor there. I had no desire, and I would have had an advantage to get a job. A lot of people that I did my internship with all got jobs and applied and got in there. I applied to the Bronx. I had my offer before anybody else got an offer, and I was happy to take it because I wanted to serve people who I felt were hardworking, regular people like me, not getting a fair shake.
So what is the difference? What does that mean? Like, what's the difference between because I know you're saying there's a difference, but what is the difference? Why?
The community is different, right? Like your juries are different. So your juries are different, so your representation is different. The juries in the Bronx, they see the humanity in circumstances. The juries in Manhattan, I'm not sure they do, right? Like I'm not sure that they are. I wouldn't call them fair. I really wouldn't. I mean, look, the jury you get, you pick, right? And you work really hard to pick a good jury. And one of the best trial attorneys I ever knew used to say, like, when you are picking a jury, you're trying to find a jury that's going to listen to you, it's going to give you a fair shake, right? But when you're in Manhattan, they take it's just like if you have a civil case in the Bronx, they're going to give you a big reward, right? But if you have a civil case in Manhattan, they don't give those big rewards the way they would in the Bronx or Queens or even Brooklyn, because they are more concerned with the finances and the environment is much more political. It's like being in Westchester County. We were talking about Westchester County a little before the show started. I would literally go to court, and there'd be lawyers there who were like, "Oh, I gotta make my tea time in an hour. The judge has a tea time right after me." Like, that's a funny conversation to hear, but realistically, they all are. It's a small enough group of people, and everybody can just like. I remember I had this case with two wealthy. Like I had a wealthy client. The complainant was a wealthy guy, and they were just making both the prosecution and myself miserable because they could afford to drag the case out indefinitely and keep delaying it and keep doing things that make it more difficult and keep filing new cross complaints in the civil courts, and it was making the criminal case impossible to resolve. So I see it all the time.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. A cross complaint in civil court? How does that work with a criminal court case?
Well, think about it.
You hurt me, I hurt you, we both sue each other.
So you file a cross claim against me, then I file a cross claim against you for something else that you did, and you just keep enjoining issues until you have a web.
But you can do that. You can make a criminal case complicated using that strategy?
Yeah, because if the civil case is creating new discovery and new stuff that is considered in your criminal case, you're going to have an issue. You don't want to go forward with a criminal case when there's a civil case dragging out.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's a thing.
Is this a Westchester thing?
It can be anywhere.
It can be, but is it a Westchester thing?
This is unique to this particular case.
I said it can be, but is it a Westchester thing?
Are you saying it's
this is unique to this case.
Because in our boroughs, officers don't take complaints after the fact because it's considered retaliatory. So they're not going to make an arrest unless you made the complaint.
No, he's saying civil.
First or simultaneously.
These are civil cross claims that keep coming up, right?
And then it's causing a criminal issue?
Because you can't resolve your criminal case because they keep getting new discovery you need for your criminal case.
And then I would be like, Your Honor, this is a civil matter. Can we just get an ACD and we handle it in civil court if it's so serious?
The judge doesn't decide. The prosecution decides, and we're the ones looking for the discovery.
Why do they care?